Good morning and welcome to the river lot in France, where the weather is absolutely spectacular. It's late September and it's only 9 o'clock in the morning and already we're well into the 20s. I've got 10 days ahead of me and I'm out here with my old mate Jim Lightfoot, who's fished in this region of France for quite a few years now. And I'm really excited about being out here because instead of fishing from bivvies, what we're going to be doing is just chugging up and down the river in his boat, spending a day here and there, trying to catch some of the wonderful wild carp that this river's famous for.
Carp are very nomadic. You're trying to find areas, passing points where the fish have got this is an ideal point here where it's very thick weed beds, so the fish are going around the weed bed and you're trying to intercept them as they go around the weed bed. But the fish, their natural food source is zebra mussels, so you're looking for like big underwater snags, big underwater trees which are loaded with zebra mussels. And
they're all over the place, aren't they? Yeah, wherever you look, there's just features all over. So there's a little bit of chance, you know, I'll try this spot today. And
of course there is, yeah.
Do you ever bait any spots, like bait one and then come back to it the next day or anything like that?
If we're being honest, no, that would be a good method, but it's so full of natural food, the river, that you can't really compete against the natural food levels. So you're just finding spots, a couple of days in each spot, move along.
Beautiful, mate. And there's that massive weed bed that Jim was talking about. Look at it. That's got to have carp in it. There'll be some good depth along the side of that as well, probably. 14, 15 foot either side. And if that's top to bottom weed, that's going to be a carp magnet. It's absolutely roasting at the moment. It's about 28, 29 degrees. I know it's really cold back home, but I've got the rods out. I've got one down this margin and I've got two on the far bank. And there's not a great deal you can do when you're fishing a river, really, other than try and stop fish that are patrolling through the swim. Now, had it been a little bit more narrower, I'd have probably put a great big long line of bait from one side of the river to the other to try and stop anything that's coming through. But looking at the features that are on the bottom, it's pretty shallow in the margins down here, and then it deepens off in the middle and then comes up again the other side. So it's pretty obvious to me that I'm probably better off putting the rods down the margins, and I've put two over the far bank, mainly because we're over here, we're making noise, talking, banging in the boat, and there's nothing over that far bank, so they're more likely to be a lot more susceptible to catching over there. So that's why I've put two over there and one down here. It's a nice quiet margin down here on the right, so that rod definitely looks pretty good. This is the life. Get used to this. We've been at the first swim just for the night, and now we're going to go downstream about half an hour or so, where Jim reckons is a really wild place that he's never yet fished himself. We're going to be fishing with the unknown. So a lovely afternoon. We fished on until about 5 o'clock in the afternoon. The sun's just started to go down a little bit. It's about 25 degrees, so it's still nice and warm, and it's just a lovely life. Now, Jim's been doing this for 3 years, so you know, everything's possible. If you're sat there in England now and you're not liking what you're doing at home, yourself into this lifestyle. It's beautiful, it really is. I've only been here a day, I'm falling in love with it. Jim assures me that this spot is a little bit more of the unknowns, because where we fished last night, it's a little bit of a regular spot amongst a lot of the local carp anglers, and you know, there's quite a few different people that fish along this stretch. So with this one, it's a little bit more wild and a little bit more out of the way, and it's certainly looking nice. There's some nice features out there. Got the far margin where there's some nice grassy weed. So I've got a rod nice and tight to there where it's 8 foot, and then just down this margin here to me right. If we could just move it around a little bit more. I've got a lovely deep margin down there which drops down to 16 foot, and there's a little shelf. Now on the shelf there's loads of snags, and they look a little bit too dangerous if I'm honest. So as soon as you hook a fish near them, you know exactly where they're going to head. So I've got it just at the bottom of the shelf. So yeah, it's a lovely evening and very confident, let's put it that way. Second night, let's hope it brings us some success. I'm not sure what's going on over there, but he's definitely got one on. Don't know if it's snagged in the weed, so let's hope he gets it.
Last night it was total carnage. We had bream, we had chub, but in amongst them was his lovely carp. What a beautiful fish. It's like a perfect river carp, that. And I'm going to put it back right now. Beautiful.
Be able to see this, but it is a mega evening here. It's sun's just going down. It's probably about 8 o'clock in the evening. The moon's out. You can hear the crickets, the odd frog every now and again as well. There's loads of mozzies about, but there's fish boshing, so proper buzzing. Let's have a look round, see if you can see anything. Probably won't be able to. That's downstream. Unfortunately my video camera's got a light on it and I can't turn it off, so you might be able to pick up a little bit more of the scenery without that thing on. But that's where the sun's been setting over there. Absolutely beautiful. What a place to be. Now Jim tells me that this is an SAS in a capsule for a tent of some description, and that's what my little boudoir is whilst I'm on this riverboat. And in there we've got an inflatable blow-up bed and a sleeping bag with 2 pillows. It looks tiny. It's probably designed for someone like Jim who's only about 5 foot, but for me, he keeps telling me that I'm wriggling too much and I'm rocking the boat in the middle of the night and waking him up, but that's where I'm living at the moment, and there's loads of mosquitoes about, so as much as it's uncomfortable, it's definitely doing the job. And meanwhile, Jim has got this little palace in here. You can't really see through his little mosquito net, but there is a little palace in there somewhere. If I can get in,
yeah, get
just
in
quickly.
You're welcome in, mate.
There it is. A double bed, fridge, cupboards, the lot.
I did offer to share with you.
Yeah.
We'd make it nice and intimate.
I might do by the end of the week if I get desperate. It's a lot better than my little palace, and it's a bit of a race to get out of the boat though when his rods go. He's got a little step there, and there's his little pink handbag that we've had a little bit of a Twitter spat about. But he's got to get round here to get to his rods, which are just round there. So yeah, life on the riverboat. There's my rods. It's a lovely evening anyway. You can just hear the crickets chirping and the odd frog as well. Let's hope it brings a carp or two tonight. So we're at Jim's super secret quiet spot that nobody ever goes to, and typically 6 night swimmers have turned up right next to us just as we've got the rods out. Yep. You can probably just about hear them behind me. Ain't that just sod's law? You come to a place like this which is so quiet, no one around, and they come wandering down into your swim. Moaning old crowbags. Sorry, but I'm getting old now.
It's got masses of weed on, so. gonna go in. Oh, just trying to go to those near side snags.
What's your lines, mate?
Yeah, so
With that engine.
See it. Ooh.
Daytime action crowbar, perfect. Nice looking fish as well.
Good stuff.
Rods it. What a beauty.
How big is it, mate?
It's 39 pounds, just under 40. Totally different shape than a normal river lot commons, but you just never know what you're going to catch. What a beautiful fish. Beautiful morning. Just magical.
So, Jim, you've been over here for 3 years now, mate, and all you can say is désolé anglais.
Yeah. I've got an app on my phone as well, so
Oh, yeah.
translate everything.
You
So I
are.
can actually speak many languages.
So, mate, you made the decision to come over here, you packed everything in England, and 3 years on, you're still living on the river lot. What's it like over here?
You know, it's absolutely magical, if I'm honest, magical. 3 years in, but I'm still enjoying it. Every month I'm still enjoying it more, so that's a great sign. Still finding the fishing really interesting. It's like I keep moving to new stretches, finding new bits of water, and you just come across different challenges all the time, so it just keeps it all very interesting.
Are you out to 12 months of the year, or just during the summer, spring and autumn?
Just summer, spring and autumn. I've still got home back in Manchester. Most of my family's still back in Manchester, so I go back in Manchester to see them, come back out here in March and stay all the way to November.
Why don't you fish in the winter then on here? Is it because the winter's rubbish, or is it because you just need to go back to see your family?
No, my actual favourite month on the river is December. If I could pick a month to fish, it'd be December, because the fish are just in pristine condition. The river is completely empty of anglers. You have the whole entire river to yourself. And it's a little bit more challenging as well, because you've got strong flows, the river's flooding, so you've got to fish like sometimes 15, 16 ounces of lead. You've got to fish 2 bat leads. I'm using rocks, so it makes it quite complex. You really got to think about what you're doing. But that's what I like. That's what I like about my fishing.
You say there's no anglers here in the winter, but there's none here really now, is there?
No, it's not. No.
You know, we're about
Yeah.
like 7-8 miles away from where your property is, and well, when we came down here, we never saw anybody fishing. There was one guy set up to the right of us a couple of days ago, but since then I've not seen a head or sign of a carp angler. So
Yeah.
it's a really, really beautiful spot. So, you know, let's talk about the fishing on here. Really, then, fish wise, is there a lot of carp in here, do you think, or?
Yeah, there's a few. Yeah, there is a lot of carp in here, but sometimes you'd be fishing here and you have the impression there's no carp in here because it's a river. Because they are nomadic, you can be fishing a section, and if your carp aren't here, they just aren't here. You could be 2 mile upstream, 2 mile downstream. But when they arrive, you think, oh, it's so easy. This, right? You're getting runs left, right, and centre. But
What's the average size of the fish that you're catching out of here?
average size, mid to high 20s is average size.
And what's the biggest that you've caught and the biggest you've known about?
Yeah, the biggest I've caught is a 51.5 pounder, a common, and the biggest out of the lot I know is 76 pound, a mirror, but that was caught in the middle stretches where we're on the lower stretches.
Okay. That's an incredible fish to catch from a river.
Oh yeah, it's a major fish. There was actually 2 of them in the same stretch. There was a common and a mirror, both over 70 pound.
Wow.
Unfortunately, the commons died, but the mirror's still living, still getting caught. And,
I guess that area is a little bit more busy than where we are now then.
Yeah, and
angler-wise.
It's an area I deliberately choose to ignore because I don't want to. When I go fishing, I don't really want to see another angler, to be honest. I don't want to catch fish which have already been caught before or people know of.
You've had a few fully scaled out the river as well, haven't you?
Yeah. My second ever fish from the river was a 36.5 pound fully scaled. So I thought, it was my second fish, I thought, oh aye, here we go, what's the river going to be like? And who knows, it's that fish I've never seen since. That was like 3.5 years ago. I've never seen it since. I'll probably never see it again.
So you just don't know what we're fishing for, do you then?
No idea, no.
You know, there could be some unknown whackers just round here. So, I mean, it is exciting. It's really exciting. I love it, and I've kind of fallen in love with the place. It's beautiful. It's wild. It's got that unknown fishing about it, and you know, although you're out here regularly, there's no pre-baited spots. There's no prepared spots or anything. No regularly fished spots. You're just wandering up and down the river, and this takes me fancy. I'll give it a go here.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Well, me and you both grew up carp fishing in the 80s. And back then it was like you didn't know what you were going to catch in a lot of the lakes. And it's trying to relive that really. It's getting back to that initial buzz when you first started carp fishing. You had no idea what you were going to catch. Most of the time you went fishing, you never saw another carp angler, and it's maybe I'm just trying to strive to get that back in with fishing.
Do you think you'll last a few more years out of there?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, there's probably many lifetimes of fishing to be had in a river. Like I'm only concentrating on the lower stretches. So potentially could move to the middle stretches, the upper stretches. There's some other beautiful rivers, the River Dordogne, the River Garonne. There's a lot of canal systems around there, Canal de Midi, Canal de Garonne. And they've all got just miles and miles and miles of untapped water.
Awesome, fantastic. Life on the riverboat. Don't know how it's happened, but somehow we've chopped the rope that's connected to the other boat. Must have got tangled up in the props, and we've lost the other boat. So we're going to go back and look for it. We don't know where we've lost it. We don't know where we've chopped it. Could have been half an hour ago. Could have been an hour ago. But it's got everything in there. Echo sounder, rods, the lot. So we've got to try and find it. One thing after another on this place, always something happening. There it is. So we found it at last. Yeah, a bit worrying because we thought we might have lost it near the dam, and if it's gone down the dam then obviously everything had been lost, but luckily it's just down here. So I think what we've done is we've pulled in to chat to some woman, and must have got the rope wrapped around the propeller and cut it there. But everything looks like it's all intact other than the rope, so we'll hook it up and get on with our way. Back in business. All sorted. I think it's day 5 now, not sure, but yeah, still on the boat. Got another 5 days left after this, and we're in a different area at the moment. We're opposite a little village, which is really nice, very tranquil spot. Right in the middle of nowhere still. Got no access on this side of the river where we are, so nobody's coming down and bothering us, and there's no road backing onto it, so there's no noise. It's just us and the carp, hopefully. There's the odd noise coming from the village opposite, but it's still well away from us, so it's a beautiful spot this is. And what we've got here is we've got pretty much similar to what we had on the first night that I fished here, where there's a road, there's an old road or wall or something that's opposite us, and it goes from 14-15 foot right up to the surface, and it's really rocky. You know, when I was out there about half an hour ago donking the lead about, I managed to get the lead stuck, so it's really rocky. And as you can imagine, on a river like this, rocky places like that, there's going to be loads of food for the carp. And whilst we've been setting up here, I've seen 2 really decent sized fish show as well. They were in the upper layers over deep water, probably feeding on flies and what have you, but it's good to know that there's carp in this area, and we're not actually too far away from when we fished off a jetty downstream a couple of nights ago, when Jim did see some fish and heard some fish crashing to his left, which is roughly where we are now. So there's definitely carp in this area, and I've got 3 rods out now. Up until today I've only been fishing with 2, but I've got 3 rods out because I can really spread them around nicely. I've got a couple of rods just at the foot of the wall, and I've got one down my margin here to my right, as well as a water pump that's feeding the field behind us just to my right. But just over the back there I've got a bottle, and the line's nice and high in the water, so it's looking good. And Jim's got 3 rods out down to his left as well, so we've covered some good area, and to be honest with you, I'm pretty confident for tonight, so let's see what develops. So here's a look at what I'm using then, and it's really heavy gear, reminiscent of the stuff that I'll be using on Rainbow Lake. I've got a size 2 hook, I've got a 26mm SLK bottom bait, and then just above that I've got a bright yellow topper, and that's a pop-up that's fished snowman style. And the reason I'm using the yellow is just to give it a bit of visual. And then we've got a 50-pound shock tight hook link through to an avid lead clip, and then we've got a 12-ounce lead on the end of that. Now there's quite a lot of flow in the water at the moment, so a 12-ounce lead is just necessary. And we've got a 50-pound mono leader, roughly about 3 rod lengths of leader, and that's straight through to some braid that's on the reel. As you can see on the mono, what I've got is one of these bottle floats, and this is one of the avid ones. And the reason I'm using this is because there's quite a lot of obstructions on the bottom. There's a lot of tree stumps and a bit of weed dotted about, and the reason I've got this is just to keep the line up off the bottom and everything away from harm's way. So the way that I'll fish this then is I'll clip the bottle marker in between 2 beads and 2 float stops, and then the top float stop, that'll be fished about a foot over depth. So in this case, if I'm fishing in 9 foot of water, I'll set that at 10 foot, and then it keeps the line up off the bottom and out of harm's way. This is quite straightforward fishing really, because what I'm doing is just fishing off the edge of this wall that's here. There's a wall that runs all the way in front of us from left to right, and it's about a foot deep on top of it, and then just in front of it, it drops down to 14-15 foot. So all I'm doing is getting my lead and then donking it down the side of the stones, and then leaving it just in front in the soft bit. I can feel it really easy with these 12-ounce leads. It's still on the wall now. There we go. It's on the wall. Still on the wall. Still on the wall. I can feel it hitting the bricks. There's a lot of flow at the moment, and also a breeze coming off that hill down this little valley, so it's quite tricky holding bottom. It's also quite tricky holding the boat steady. There we go. It's nice and soft there. I'll just reel it back up, check that everything's okay, and then donk it down again. I'm still on the stones, eh? That's nice and soft there. I'm just putting half a dozen or so free offerings around each hook bait. And that's basically it. That's all I'm doing. Now try and get back to the bank in a straight line against this flow, which ain't easy. There we go. One of the things I'm doing is making sure that the rod tip is below the surface as I go back, just to keep the braid below the surface and away from any obstructions that might come past. Well, this is officially my first river lock carp, and at a guess it's probably just over 20 pounds, and it's built like a complete torpedo, it really is, and as you can imagine it puts a great fight. Just drop him over here. This month's product plug is the Avid bottle markers that I've been using during the session. They come as a pair. You get the yellow one and the orange one, and they come with everything included. You get the beads and the float stops and the elastics just to clip them onto the line. They're absolutely perfect from keeping everything up off the bottom. Check them out at avidcarp.com. The life of Jim. He says to me he's busy, but look at that. He's sitting there on Facebook pronouncing every single person's name wrong. Daniel Dubois, the boxer, is Daniel, where is it? Dubai. Nick Hellier, the fisherman, is Nick Houllier. And then what was the other one you did this morning?
Don't know, mate.
Somebody else.
Mate, I'm a Mancunians have our own language, mate.
Yeah, so it's called Man United, probably.
Man City, mate.
Man City or Man United.
Mate, if you're a Mancunian, you support Man City, mate.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Sure. So if you're from Wolverhampton like I am, it's Man United.
Yeah, that's right, mate. I am as Mancunian as they come.
Yeah, sat in your arse.
Mate, this is my work, mate, this. I'm just replying to emails.
Not everybody in Manchester's like you. That's a good fish. Mega. God, look at that. What a gorgeous carp. Cracking 30-pounder. Really, really chuffed with that one. But this is the easy spot apparently. Jim's brought me to the banker area. An area that he's fished a few times. What a gorgeous evening, just watching the sun go down, drinking a brew and looking at the rods hoping that they're going to burst into life. Looking at my rods anyway, we can't see Jim's. Jim's are just at the other end of the boat. Like that is what we're looking at. An old local village, old church. The church has just chimed a few bells about 6 o'clock. Really atmospheric and a nice place to be. Sitting and waiting on the river lot. Waiting for a wild carp. Not bad. Check that baby out. Oh. Little grass snake.
Oh yeah.
Look at that little boy.
That's a fucking...
Where's that come from?
Yeah. We've got 2 snakes in a boat now.
Yeah, you. Not me. It's not a grass snake. It's got a go ring round its neck, mate. It's a different kind of snake.
Looks like a killer to me, mate.
It's got a different... It's not a grass snake, mate.
Oh no, it's not,
It's not a grass snake, so I don't know what it is.
Adder, mate, I think.
Is it?
Look at that, its tongue coming out. That's an aggressive one, that.
Well, it's gone in your bivvy. Or it's going to. Because mine ain't set up. I've been trying to think of a name for this swim. So we've called it the Ghost Church, because that church over there, we've been there, and there's never anybody in it. And when the bells were ringing earlier on, there was nobody in it. This evening the bells have been ringing, and we know there's been nobody in it. And now there's a light come on. So there you go. Wild adventure fishing, where the swims have no name, but they have now. The Ghost Church. If you believe in them things. Trying to get amongst all the weed. She goes. Nice. Bit tired at the minute. It's been a really busy day, or really busy 10 days of being out here, and you know, getting towards the end of the trip now, and it's probably taking its toll a little bit because I'm absolutely shattered, broken sleep every night. You know, when there's 2 people fishing in a little small space like we are on this boat, it only needs you the person to get a bleep or to get up and have a piss or whatever, and you know, you're awake, and you know, that interrupts with your normal day-to-day pattern. And it's fair to say we've been really busy. We've been up and down this river every day. People might be looking at this thinking, God, what a life, just travelling around the river, and it's not quite like that. There's a lot of work gone into this particular little video. We've been busy every day, moving swim, baiting up, looking for fish, been down the shops regular. I've been doing my running. Jim's been backwards and forwards to his house in the car, or cycling somewhere, because we've had to leave the car about a mile or so away from where we are, and we're filming it all as well, and catching fish, you know. And we're not on probably the best diet at the moment either, because we've not really got the best cooking facilities here to do 4-course meals, etc. But we're still loving it, and we've only got a couple of nights left now, but we'll still be giving it 110% to try and end with a really good fish. And let's hope tonight is the night when we get a really, really special one. I mean, we've already had some special ones from this trip, but you know, it'd be really lovely just to end with an absolute whacker. But whatever happens, it's been fun out here, let's say that. Hard work, but really good fun. One of the things I'm always trying to do on the bank is think about how to improve things, and at the moment Jim's definitely been catching a better stamp of fish than me. I'm getting quite a few 20s and some low 30s, whilst Jim's getting some high 30s, including a 39. And at the moment, I'm using just boilie, whilst he's been using some seeds, some particles, a little bit of maize as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm certainly going to stick with the boilies on at least 2 of my rods, but on this marginal rod down here, I've decided to put some seed and some tiger nuts out and a base of particles basically, and just fish the boilies over the top. So we'll see what happens. I mean, Jim has been getting some bream and a few eyed, but he's using a lot smaller hook baits than me. I'm using double hook baits. I'm using a 26 miller and then a 20 mil popper on the top of that. So I think I'll avoid the smaller fish, but I think by putting a bit of seed out there, certainly by putting quite a bit of bait out there as well, it might encourage some of those bigger fish into the swim. So let's see how it works anyway. Another beautiful sunrise and another story to tell, because this morning I've landed my biggest fish of the trip, and it's exactly the sort of fish that I've came to this river to catch, and it proper beat me up on the bank. We was just doing the photographs and it smacked me on the chin while my mouth was open, so I've got a sore tongue at the moment because I managed to bite my tongue. It's cut my finger and it's managed to flip back into the river. So unfortunately we've got no video footage of it, but we have got some beautiful photographs thanks to Jim. So really happy to have caught that fish. That fish was just amazing, wasn't it, mate? Proper long beast of a carp.
Yeah, it was amazing, mate. It's what river carp is all about for me. But what you have to realise, these fish, they have to survive so much in the winter months. This river's about, exactly this spot, it's about 10 foot higher, and it's a raging torrent, and just for these fish to survive is a big battle. And it's like when you catch them, like, it's a proper buzz. It's a total pleasure it is, seeing like a natural wild carp in its environment. Beautiful, and well done, Si. Perfect, mate.
Perfect pictures, mate. No video, but perfect pictures.
No videos, it beat you up, that fish. Definitely. Yeah, I wasn't sure whether you were going to cry when it jumped back in the water, but at least we got some good photographs.
Cheers, dude. Bad mood morning. There's me bed. Woken up in the middle of the night by rainfall, and there is basically a little hole in the sheeting that's been covering my bivvy, and I could hear it raining, but I was half asleep, and then it started gushing through that hole and onto my face. Yeah, uncomfortable night. Sleeping bag soaking wet. There was no forecast for rain. I had to put this little shawl thing over the top of the bivvy to keep the rain off me, and I get this bank stick, shove it in the hole, and then stick it on the chair to keep the rain from falling on top of me. So yeah, a couple of fish in the night as well. So yeah, proper tired. Meanwhile, Jim's nice and comfy in his little cabin. Morning, dude.
Morning, mate.
Yeah, but it's a nice morning. And we've got a couple of fish to photograph as well, so not that bad. Well, there you go. What a fantastic morning to end this session with. It's been an amazing adventure. We've caught loads of lovely fish. We've been with 2 nice 30-pounders, and all that's left to do now is to say a massive thank you to you, mate, for looking after me during the course of the last week. We've had a great time, and if you're interested in fishing on the river lot, then check out riverlotparadise.com.
Cheers, Carp. It's been an absolute pleasure, mate. We've caught some absolutely beautiful fish, and what a perfect way to end it. Brace of 30s.
Mega, mate.
Mega. Let's put them back. Let's put them back.